Okay, welcome. I'm Emily Kovac, the editor of Pennsylvania Eats, and I'm here with Megan Greevy from Feeding PA. Megan, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Hi, yes, my name is Megan, as she mentioned, and I am the registered dietitian with Feeding Pennsylvania. And I currently work on a project called the Healthy Pantry Initiative. And Feeding PA is the state association of food banks in Pennsylvania. And so we do a lot of advocacy, a lot of bringing the food banks together, and working with bringing fresh produce through our Mark co-op. So a lot of different things we do. And right now we're focused, of course, on the emergency response that's going on in the Charitable Food Network.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that today because it seems like in this current moment, there's going to be a lot of people who already relied on food banks who are going to need them more than ever. And then a lot of people who might have never considered that they might need help from a food bank who might be facing that position. So, could you tell us a little bit about how people can find the resources that they need, whether they are familiar with the system or they're brand new to the system?
Yeah, absolutely. One really important message that we want everybody to know is that the food banks are life-sustaining organizations. So, among all of the closures, the food banks are open. The food banks serve all of the counties in Pennsylvania. The staff is working hard and they're fully operational. So yes, we are open to people that rely on the pantry and the food bank network, as well as are finding themselves in a new situation. So if you're unsure about who your local food bank is, feedingpa.org has a section that says find assistance, and you can search for your local food bank by the county that you live in. And then once your local food bank is identified, you can click on it and it'll take you to the food bank's website, where they list all of their local agencies. And you can search by the zip code that's closest to you.
Okay, and if for some reason the one that's closest to you is closed or seems too crowded, like you're able to go to food banks anywhere else, right? You're not tied to the one that's closest to your home.
Right. So there are a lot of local agencies, and I will say that some of them have had to close with everything going on. But you are able to go to other food pantries that are, most of the time people want to go to the one that's closest to them just for ease and convenience. However, they are able to go to other ones. The food banks are doing their best to keep their list up to date as to the ones that are currently open. But you can also call the food banks to find out if that pantry is open or the pantry itself.
Cool. And then just as there are people who are maybe seeking help, I feel like there's a lot of people mobilizing around trying to help and maybe don't know exactly the best thing to do if they want to support their local food bank. Can you talk a little bit about how people who are still in a pretty secure position can help right now?
Absolutely. So, financial support, of course, will be critical as the food banks are increasing their work to try to face the increased need. Some of it's in funding for more food, but it's also funding for cleaning supplies and boxes to help pack up more of the food. So, financial support is always appreciated. The needs are changing and evolving for each one of the food banks, so it is best to check. The food banks are notifying what their needs are. So it is best to check with the individual food bank what their need is. Some are taking healthy volunteers, some are not taking, they have more than enough volunteers. Others are looking for, the money donations. So it really depends. So it's best to check their website, and they are posting what their needs are.
Cool. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our readers about the situation right now before we go back to our day?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned, there some of the agencies are closed, but the food banks are, doing their best to keep up to date what's open, and the food banks are also doing some special distributions. So that's something else you can see if they're doing any distributions in your area, that you can attend. Also, of course, we want you to know that the food banks are following all of the guidelines and really working to keep everybody's food safe, and clean, and distributing it in safe ways. So they've modified how they're doing their distributions to make sure that they're, following all of the guidelines. So we're here for you, and we're doing our best to make sure that we are doing it in the safest way possible.
Cool. And for anybody in PA, feedingpa.org is kind of like the main hub they can visit to get all this kind of information and find their local bank, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, Megan, thank you so much for your time and good luck in the coming weeks.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
All right, you too.